Facial recognition, baby. That's a Microsoft Surface device. Surface device.
And you're retiring.
And those days are actually coming to an end. They announced my retirement last week. I think that was pretty exciting. My boss wrote, I posted on Facebook, but apparently it was pretty small, a super nice note about that, and so in a couple days here they'll cut off my network access, but I'll still be supporting the new person supporting Mexico for the next month while we're doing what we're doing next.
That's right.
Which is?
We don't know.
No, that's not entirely the truth.
No, we do know that, well, with COVID and everything, some of the countries are opening, they're opening slow, or, they're opening, but then they're closing,
right.
And they have lots of rules for vessels going in and out as far as health insurance and things like that. So,
but before all the COVID stuff happened, our big grand plan was to finish up the year we were just here in La Paz and retire for me, and then sail south, and then cross the Pacific Ocean and go to the French Polynesian. One of the things on my bucket list was the French Polynesian and Tahiti. I think both of us for Tahiti, and that's going to be a challenge for us.
Yeah, the dogs. It's just a little harder with having dogs on board as far as just lots of rules when you're going into these really small countries. They don't have rabies in these countries, and so they don't want to have rabies, and so you have to just get like a lot of blood work and time sensitive stuff with the dogs. And we just thought, maybe we'll go there when there's no dogs. Because you go to the Galapagos and the dogs can't even go on the island. So then we thought that was kind of mean that they're on the boat, they can see land. Here you're at sea for a couple weeks, and they want to
from Panama.
Yeah, and so they want to they see land and they want to do that, but they can't even get off the boat. So,
and what we mean specifically for those out there like thinking about this, and a lot of people have pets, is most of the islands, not just in the South Pacific, but I think the UK and a lot of the islands globally, they require a rabies antibody test. And for the French Polynesian, there's only one place on the planet they will accept the results of that test. Happens to be the University of Kansas, and so we've got to have blood drawn here, it's got to be shipped there, the results have to come, and then we have a certain amount of time to get to the French Polynesian. You never want to be on a schedule when you're crossing the ocean. You want to make smart decisions. So that plan kind of got nixed in the short term. So what will happen is we're going to leave here shortly from La Paz. We're going to head south to Cabo.
And so we'll look for a weather window, and when we go, we're going to go from Los Cabos to Puerto Vallarta area, La Cruz to be more specific. And it's about 300 nautical miles.
About 300 nautical miles.
And so we're thinking 3 days, 2 nights,
Probably.
depending on weather. And so,
Days.
It's been a while since we've, done the whole overnight and doing watch and stuff. And, it takes, about the time we get into our groove, we'll be probably arriving in La Cruz. So. Right. Because we take watch at night. She kind of drives herself, but
she definitely has autopilot.
Yeah, it needs eyes.
It needs eyes, and the thing that a lot of people I don't think maybe realize when you're out crossing large bodies of water, particularly the Sea of Cortez or the Gulf of California, is the whales. There's lots of whales, and they sleep on the surface of the water at nighttime, and you have to kind of be very careful of that. And fishing nets and all these things that are out there, they can create big problems. So once we get to the cruise, we're going to hook up with our friends that we introduced on one of our videos before. Surface.
Facial recognition.
We have some notes.
Yeah, otherwise we just...
Which I actually can't
squirrel.
see because I don't have my glasses on, but I'm making my way. So we're going to hook up with Captain Underpants and Lovey, also known as Darren and Linda. They're actually in PB now. They were in PB during the whole COVID thing while Tammy and I were actually in Loretto. And so we're going to hook up with them. We're going to do a lap around Banderas Bay, which is where Puerto Vallarta is. And then we're going to start heading south, making stops along the way for about, I think, maybe 150 nautical miles or so to a place called Barra de Navidad.
Yes. Thank you. It's my turn now.
Go.
So once we get down to Barra Navidad, we join something called the Panama Posse. And so we're going to go to some seminars down there about weather and, just different places to anchor. And that was our plan for this year, was to do the Panama Posse. So we're going to kind of go down there and go to the seminars, see how things are, if things are opening. Some places want you to quarantine on your boat for 14 days. I don't think we really want to do that. Some of them, yeah, and it's just, you go into a country, if they give you like a visa, then they take that 2 weeks also and apply it to the time of your visa, I think. So,
Right.
So we're not really sure. I think we'll make the decision once we get down there. But if we don't do that, then we will continue down into Mexico and then end up coming back up and then maybe go up as far as Mazatlan and then come back to the sea.
Crossover.
Yeah, for the summer. Because we haven't even really been over to the other side yet. So, yeah, lots of exploring to do. So, lots of diving to do too. So
lots of diving, yeah. I think the main thing when considering going south of Mexico into Central America and then eventually down into Panama, the Panama Posse, is that not so much getting sick or something like that, it's whatever, but they can close the borders at any time. And that means the maritime borders. They can deny you entry into the country. And, whilst that might not seem like a big deal because the cracker is very self-sustaining from a lot of different things, eventually we're going to run out of food. And it can get quite dangerous from a weather perspective. And so you have to be able to go somewhere at some point if you're going to get, locked down for an extended period of time. And that can end up being Nicaragua, for example, that accepts you and everybody else doesn't. And maybe you want to be there, maybe you don't. But the point is that you may not have the choice. And so we're going to head down there and check it out, see what the current lay of the land is. And
yeah, and we're talking not leaving to go on there. I mean, it'll be like the end of like the middle of December to maybe start making our way down south. But yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see because things are starting to open up. But just like Mexico, they just opened everything up, and now they're gonna start closing stuff again next week. So.
Yep, just today they announced we went from yellow light to orange light, and they're going to start shutting some things. And some states in Mexico went from orange light to red light, which means back to all shut down again. And so,
which we're hoping not for that, because that makes it very, very hard.
Then we can't leave here.
Yeah,
so.
And Tammy, I know I'm speaking for myself, probably you too, but I'm ready to get off the dock.
It's time.
yeah, I'm ready to just get out there. There's just something about being out there and dropping that anchor. And it's pretty awesome.
It's good.
So,
It's
yeah.
good. It's good. Yeah. Yeah, but that gets complicated too. So with the whole COVID thing. But anyhow, um, so just kind of a summary thing there. So down to Cabo, across the Sea of Cortez, over to Puerto Vallarta, down to Bar Navidad, make a big decision, A or B, north or south, and then there'll probably be more updates like that at this point in time. And so,
But if we do make our way down south, we were always wondering, we always wanted to go, to the French Polynesian, go right, but I think we would actually go left and head into the Caribbean.
head in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dogs are much easier to immigrate there. The rules are very consistent. They're readily available. It's just
And there's that
basic
whole other
immunization,
part of
so.
the Caribbean side of Mexico as well. So
Yes.
yeah,
And I love
lots
Mexico.
of diving. We love Mexico. So.
Lots of diving. Yeah, and we'll talk more about. We keep mentioning the diving on how. I mean, we're pretty self-sufficient from a diving perspective, and so. The other part is this. We get a lot of questions like, what's up with this YouTube channel thing and all these videos and stuff like that. And so I thought maybe I'll, from my perspective, what it is for me, the first thing it is a way to document what we're doing for our family and not have a stack of, I don't know, VHS tapes, what those things
Well,
are.
you're aging yourself.
Yeah, we don't
you?
have room for any of that stuff on the boat. I just know back home in a suitcase somewhere in a
Could you
storage.
imagine us with the big
Yeah,
video,
yeah,
the
yeah.
video one that we
No,
used to
we have a
on the...
whole bag of those tapes, like from when the kids.
Oh,
were
that was
really
for the
young.
littler.
Yeah, and they were just little ones,
Yeah.
and so YouTube makes it easy for us to kind of document what we're doing and stuff like that, and so I think that the other piece of it too is. It's there's a lot of people out there, and Tammy and I are fortunate to have interacted with some already that are interested in doing something different. How did you do it? What does it cost? Asking questions about the boat, things we have in the boat, and, for long range cruising. And so just kind of building a community to share information is one of my goals to be able to do, and so far I've had a cool opportunity to interact with several people that, are pretty involved with getting their boats ready to cruise, and they had just come across some of our videos on YouTube and reached out, I think most of them via Facebook Messenger, and just started asking questions, and so I think that's
And the cruising
pretty
community
cool.
is really wonderful. That's one thing that we've learned. They're just awesome.
Yeah.
They're always helpful. Everyone's helping one another, and it's
or asking questions.
Yeah,
and
it's
people
just-
are open to answering them.
yeah, it's just a great community.
Yeah, it's super cool. So yeah, for me, I think it's about building community, about reaching out, and we're heading to different places, and it's a forum for us to be able to communicate that like we are now, and maybe somebody down there will see that and say, hey, this and that, or it's
You
just
should check this out.
it's just a whole bunch of goodness in terms of being able to communicate in a much broader scope. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's just me and Tammy out in the middle of the bay, and it's kind of fun sometimes just to be able to chat with somebody over YouTube and comments or Facebook, and that's our connection sometimes to outside of our little floating environment that we live in. What about you?
I'm ready to unhook these lines and
Are you seeing the theme here?
I'm ready to go. It's gonna
Yeah.
be so exciting. Like, it's funny, like it's not like we haven't been off the dock. I mean, we go island hopping all the time, and then we took a 2-week vacation and, went all up north, the sea,
Caribbean,
and
Conception,
yeah.
But it was always a schedule of vacation because I
Right.
was working. Now we don't have that anymore.
And so it'll be really, really nice. I mean, we could get into a place and be like, 2 nights later, the wind shifted and we've got a swell coming in, and so we, pull up anchor and move, or get into one bay and decide to stay a month, and explore. I mean, it's gonna be Muy bueno.
Yes. Oh, and the fourth impromptu topic is we get every once in a while, and just recently, about an hour ago, somebody reaching out, hey, is it possible for us to actually come on the boat and visit with you guys and take our vacation and spend it with you on the boat wherever you may be at? And the answer to that question is absolutely. The dogs will be a little upset because they kind of have their own room deal going on, but we do have an additional stateroom that has its own bathroom, or they call them a head with a shower and all that kind of stuff, that's separate from that of which Tammy and I use. And so, absolutely, and yes, Sherry Harvey, we would love to have you come on the boat and hang out with us whenever it works for your schedule, because ours always actually works. And this is where we live. I think that's it. I think that's it. Goodbye.